wait around your ear hole then, won't you?
Yeah, what are you talking about, Harry?
Don't go by that, mate. That ain't gone proper since Preston knocked Spurs out of the cup. And our Ginger, he threw a pint pot at it.
Yeah, what time is it then, Harry?
5 past, just turned.
Yeah, 5 past what, mate?
1 your neck.
Cool. I'll see you, Harry.
Here, 3 pints.
Yeah, see you tomorrow, Harry.
Would you, Adam, believe it?
Would you like me to serve lunch just for yourself then, madam? I mean, he's bound to be back any minute.
1 o'clock, he promised, in front of witnesses. 1 o'clock. That was the arrangement we made.
Yes, Mum.
What time do you make it, Sally?
Just coming up for 1:30, Mum.
20 past 2 by me.
Yes. Well, perhaps mine's a bit slow.
Bill, wherever have you been? I mean, 1 o'clock you promised. I don't care which of your boozy-faced, soft-headed friends you've been running into, or how long he kept you talking. But one more caper like today, and... What's up?
Alice, I'm sorry, Alice.
What's happened?
Well, it was only for 5 minutes, so, my God, just 5 minutes.
Is he hurt? Is he ill?
He's gone, Alice. Someone's took him.
Ah, good. Decided to use his own office for a change, has he? Or is he still at lunch?
Well, thank goodness. I thought you wouldn't be back till 3 o'clock at least.
Oh, thank you.
I tried ringing you at Mario's and La Belle Etoile and Leslie's Chop House and all your usual haunts.
That's gratifying to know you don't have a complete check on all my movements.
Now, Mr. Hunter...
As a matter of fact, I lunched most enjoyably at a little snack bar near Soho Betting Shops Limited, which will remain anonymous. What did you want me for?
Well, it's Mrs. Thursday. She wants you to go back to the house immediately.
Oh. What's the matter?
She didn't say, just that she wants you there as soon as possible, and she sounded upset.
Right. Tell Sir Charles and my secretary where I am.
Yes, of course. Mrs. Thursday's office. Who? The Pretty Baby Boutique. Are you sure you've got the right number? Oh, just a moment, then. Yes, sorry. Oh, but Mrs. Thursday hasn't been here today. Me? No, I assure you, Mr. Potter, I certainly didn't. Yes, I'm Miss Mackenzie. But, Mr. Potter... Oh, no, you must have got the wrong message. I've never phoned your boutique in my life. Yes, Mrs. Thursday's at her private residence. No, I'm sorry, I can't divulge the number. Oh. Well, in that case, Not at all. Good afternoon, Mr. Potter.
Excuse me, Mum.
Who's Sally?
You've had no lunch, Mum. I was wondering if you'd like me to bring you something.
No, dear, I'm not hungry.
Very well, Mum.
Has Mr. Lee had something?
He says he didn't feel like it.
Oh, we must have something. Tell him I said so. Won't do nobody any good going without food. Make him a sandwich or something.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Cup of tea, yes.
Mum, don't you think you ought to have something to eat? I mean, it can't do any good.
Sally.
I'll see about that tea, then.
Do you think we'll ever find him?
Well, obviously the police is what we need and what we can't have.
Why not?
You'll have to confess everything.
Crimes is what you confess. Surely there's a difference between crimes and being human.
Oh, very well. You'll have to tell them everything then. It's the same thing.
Oh, well, if I've got to do that, I've got to do it.
You'll get into trouble.
Oh, well, that's my bad luck, isn't it? I know the baby'd no business being here in the first place. I'd no business keeping him, I know that. But at least we knew he was safe, and so did his mum, God help her. But what's happened now? Well, we don't know. We don't know that, do we?
All right. We'll report it.
Good afternoon. May I see Mrs. Thursday, please?
Oh, I don't really think after what's happened.
I beg your pardon.
Come in, please. I'll see when she'll be available.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
I do, mate.
Would you come this way, Mr. Potter, please? Mrs. Thursday will see you now.
Thank you.
Mr. Potter, Mum.
Mrs. Thursday, I do apologize for calling upon you unannounced, as it were, but in view of the circumstances, I felt it was my duty.
Well, it's me what must apologise, Mr. Potter. I'm afraid I got bad news.
Bad news?
Well, a disappointment. You see, I shall have to cancel that order I give you this morning, because my daughter's got to go back to Sheffield with the baby.
Yes, I know.
You know what?
About the cancellation, your secretary rang me earlier.
Miss Mackenzie?
Yes, sir. See, madam, that's why I'm here. I mean, you're perfectly entitled to cancel any order you wish. That's your prerogative as a customer, immediately after placing it. Now, if in any way you feel we've not given you satisfaction...
Oh, just a minute, I don't get this. You say Miss Mackenzie phoned and cancelled the pram?
Yes, and the crib. Whilst I was at lunch, she spoke to our Mr. Tompkins, Mrs. Thursday's secretary, Mr. Tompkins said.
But Jean doesn't know.
No, nothing.
Scotch girl?
But that's another thing, madam. She was Scottish when I spoke to her before lunch, but not apparently when she talked to Mr. Tompkins. I must confess, madam, I do find it very strange, difficult to understand.
You're not the only one.
Now, one thing at a time, Mr. Potter. You say you yourself spoke to Miss Mackenzie.
Yes, sir. And she insisted she knew nothing about me, or the boutique, or the cancellation. Mr. Tompkins said that she had a northern accent, Lancashire or Yorkshire or something. Well, I mean, that's not Scottish.
Lancashire or Yorkshire? Well, that's not my secretary.
That's exactly what I felt, madam. I mean, a young lady in that position with a northern accent.
Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith, Mum. The lady who called this morning. She was from up north.
The one the scarpet?
Yes, and she was here when Mr. Potter was, in the hall. She could have heard you talking. She was the only one who could have heard you talking. The only one to know.
Yeah, the piece in the hall. Yeah, I seen her.
She talked Lancashire, didn't she, Mr. Lee?
Well, I don't know. She didn't hardly open her mouth. Seemed a bit puddled, to me.
What, drunk?
No, puddle-headed. Seemed miles away. Then all on edge, especially when I showed her the nipper, her eyes filling up with tears and all.
Oh, well, that's it then.
Mrs. Thursday, am I to understand this order is cancelled?
Well, I don't know what better do, Mr. Hunter.
There's nothing you can do, Mrs. T. Even if this Mrs. Smith did take the... Oh, would you mind leaving us for a moment? I'll get in touch.
Very well. I bid you good day again. Good day.
Sally.
Now then, suppose Mrs. Smith did steal the child.
Oh, how can you steal what's your own, Mr. Hunter?
I beg your pardon?
Well, the baby was hers in the first place.
Oh, we can't be certain.
Oh, well, I can. I've been a mother 4 times.
Now, look,
And
Mrs.
that's
T.
4 times more than you.
That still doesn't prove that she's the mother.
Well, it does to me. I mean, you don't go breaking your heart looking at somebody else's baby.
Well, you should know. And what do you suggest you're going to do?
Well, give Mrs. Smith a piece of my mind.
How are you going to find her?
I won't. I think she'll find me. Oh, it's because you're men. You don't understand women.
You can say that again.
Excuse me, Mum.
Mrs. Smith,
Yes, Mum.
show her in, Sally. Mind you, I didn't think it would be that quick.
You surprise me.
I think we'd better be left on our own, if you don't mind.
Mrs. Smith, Mum.
Oh, all right, Sally. Well, you've got more guts than I gave you credit for.
Goods.
Come in here. I thought it might take a day or 2.
Goods doesn't enter into it.
Oh, well, all right. Well, take a seat, Mrs. Smith.
I'd sooner stand if it's all the same to you. And it's not Mrs. Smith, it's Brenda Shawcross.
Right. Well, begin at the beginning.
How'd you know I'd come?
Because you're not as hard-faced as you try to make out to be.
What makes you think that?
You phoned that baby shop, didn't you, after you got Peter back?
Well?
Well, you had it on your conscience that I was going to waste a lot of money for nothing.
Yes.
Well, if that upset you, you'd hardly let me sit here worrying about a missing baby, would you? Stands to reason.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Thursday. I'm sorry about everything. All the trouble and worry. And I will sit down, please.
Help yourself. Well, I'm waiting, dear.
Well, you are rich, loaded. You can't say you're not. Oh, what's the use of talking? Look at all this. It's a different world.
Oh, it's a different world, all right. But not in the way you mean. My mum had 5 mouths to feed when she had me, and the old man on the dole most of the time. She didn't go around dumping us on people's doorsteps. You ought to be ashamed. There's no excuse for what you've done, you know. No excuse.
I didn't know which way to turn. I did it for him. I was only thinking of him. I wanted him to have a proper chance in life.
Proper chance? Brought up by strangers? Flung out by his own flesh and blood? A beautiful baby like that? Oh, don't give me that old acid, dear. You don't know when you're well off.
I was desperate. I sat and I thought till my head was spinning.
Hasn't he got a father?
No, not now.
Didn't he marry you?
Yes, he married me 2 years ago, back home. Then he brought me down here. The money's good, he said. Plenty of building going on in London. He was on the crane. So 3 weeks ago, Eddie Road. It was on a site in Edgware, developed by Dunrich and Company.
An accident? An accident on the site, but there's compensation.
No, there's nothing fancy like that. Just an ordinary heart attack at home. No compensation, no insurance. With no price for insurance.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. You've lost your husband, and I sympathise. But you still did wrong.
Don't I know? Haven't I shown I know? It was 6 in the morning when I left him on your step. And I went home and wept. There was not left to weep. And I came back, and I heard you and that man talking. All the things you could give Peter that I couldn't. And I didn't know what to do. And then I saw him. I didn't care what you could give him.
Go on, dear.
I saw the old fella take him for a walk, so I followed him. First taxi I'd taken in a long time, probably the last. And I took Peter. I took him home.
Well, now you've got him, are you going to be fit to keep him?
If you don't know now, you never will. There's nothing more to say except I'm sorry. I'll go now.
Go where?
Islington. I'll be bed-sitter.
Have you got a job?
Of sorts. We'll manage.
Well, if you like to call round at Dunrich House, perhaps you can have a better job.
Thank you.
And you can have the poshest pram and cot in Islington if you want them.
Will you come and see him now and then, if you want to, Mike?
We'll see, dear.
Goodbye, Mrs. Thursday. Thank you for all you've done.
Well, that's that. Now it's up to her. All we can do is forget him. What you're staring at? Forget him, I'm glad to say. I'm going up to my room to have a lie down.
Can you beat that?
Yeah, a nice little nipper like that, too.
Look, dear, could you get me Sheffield 25763? Oh, you'll ring me back. Thank you. Hello? Jenny? It's Mum here, yes. Look, dear, how are you all? Well, look, I was wondering, when are you going to bring my cheeky little grandson down to see me again for a weekend? Oh, well, we could stay a week if you like. Or longer.